This is the last show I watched that wasn't just me catching up. I have mixed feelings about this show. On one hand, this show is very interesting, to the point where I watched all 48 episodes. But on the other hand, this show is very ecchi and has some really outrageous moments that aren't really believable. If you put those two things aside, this show can be very good, however. Now, don't get turned off by the premise, but the main story is about Onizuka, a 22-year-old man who is a delinquent and is pretty perverted. He wants to become a teacher so he can get a young girl as a girlfriend, but in his time as a teacher, he learns that he can teach these kids life lessons and set them straight in his own way. So he tries to be more mature while also still being himself. As much as I'd say watch the show, I can't recommend it to people who don't like ecchi. There's a lot of it used as jokes or even just as sexual situations, so you might get turned off, but if you try it, you might find out you like it. Onizuka is extremely likable. When he gets assigned as a teacher, he gets put in a class full of delinquent kids who love to rebel against teachers, but Onizuka uses strategies that might seem outlandish to some, but just another Tuesday for Onizuka. The way he solves problems are always extremely entertaining to watch, even if sometimes it's a little too aggressive or unteacher-like. This show can also get kinda repetitive at times. Most of the characters act the exact same in every situation, like that's their one personality trait. Some great examples of this are the vice principal and Fuyutsuki. The vice principal will stop at nothing to get Onizuka fired, and that's like his only character trait. Albeit, it's really funny when Onizuka does something and the principal freaks out, but it can get tiresome at times. Fuyutsuki is the same. She was a student teacher with Onizuka and didn't really know enough about Onizuka, so she assumed he was a bad person. But after actually seeing his methods of changing people, she switches her tune to liking Onizuka, and that's it. There are a couple episodes where she's the main focus and they talk about why she wanted to become a teacher, but other than that, she's just a character who really just reacts to things. Now to the bread and butter of this show, the delinquent class. The appeal of this show is Onizuka and how he ropes every student of this class into having a great time at school. Each situation, like I said before, is extremely interesting, and figuring out what he'll do next is always fun to me. I was reading some forums and some people didn't really like some of the stories in the show, since it's kinda episodic. Some of them I can agree on because it doesn't seem like there's repercussions for some of these students' actions, but I don't think the show is supposed to be taken that seriously. In that sense, the show's pretty good. The soundtrack is also surprisingly good as well, with the openings, both of them, being super good. If you're interested in this show, it's on Crunchyroll, Prime Video, the dub only, Verve, and Tubi TV. I'll warn you about Crunchyroll though. For some reason, once I got to episode 4, the sound coming from my PlayStation was super bad. It was just a high-pitched noise, and that's it. It was fine on my phone though. The other issue is that the subtitles sometimes lag behind, and you'll miss information. It can be a bother, so just watch out.